I competed in the first ever Nuzlocke Invitational. 8 big-time streamers were paired with coaches to try and beat a custom-made, hardcore randomized Nuzlocke. But it didn't end there because each streamer's Elite Four winning roster would then become their official competitive team for an in-person VGC tournament. This was hands down the coolest event I've ever been a part of, and it all started with my partner, Fuslie. Like all the other streamers, not named Ludwig, Fuslie had limited Pokemon knowledge and virtually zero Nuzlocking experience. But that was fine because Fuslie did have the single most important thing a student could have: a desire to learn. She was determined to soak up as much information as possible in the limited time we had to beat our Nuzlocke, and as someone who loves to teach, I was so eager to get started. We just instantly clicked.
Wait, I hear you're a Swiftie.
Yeah.
Me too. I love Taylor Swift. Do you have a favorite song?
It bounces around. I really like No Body, No Crime.
Ooh, tapes.
20 minutes later.
New Romantics.
I Know Places.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Very good.
It starts with that one piano note.
Anyways, the best way to learn about Nuzlocking is to actually play the game. So after a brief primer on the Invitational standard hardcore rule set, we were off on Fuslie's very first Nuzlocke adventure.
All right, first one.
Ooh, whoa.
What is that?
Whoa, oh, that's Vibrava. That's gonna evolve into Flygon.
We beat the fucking game!
We win!
Like, bro!
We win!
I mean, what are the freaking odds of our very first Pokemon being a Vibrava? Fuslie names him HQ because...
Oh my god, I've been calling him Flygon HQ. It's HG.
It's fine. I'm sure that won't be a thing that follows me forever. Now, the way that this randomizer works is that every Pokemon is randomized based on power level, meaning that a weak Pokemon will always be randomized to another equally weak Pokemon within a certain deviation of their base stat total. So we're never getting fully evolved powerhouses in the grass of Route 1. But the randomization doesn't just stop at encounters, because both the movesets and abilities for every single Pokemon are also randomized with a set list of logical parameters that are shown here, meaning that pretty much anything has the potential to be extremely powerful. By far, our best encounter from this early batch is Lafufu the Chimchar, since he's one of the few Pokemon that can evolve in time for the fight against Brock, giving our team some respectable power. With hard level caps, really the only threats throughout the entire playthrough will be the various gym leaders, whose Pokemon are also randomized by power level. Hence, Brock leading with a measly Surskit that Lafufu eviscerates with a super effective Fusion Bolt. The real kicker in this fight is what Onyx randomizes into.
Wigglytuff! GG!
A Fusion Bolt does just a bit of damage as Wigglytuff sets up a substitute. And speaking of subs, you should think about subscribing for more Nuzlocke content and collabs. You might think you already are, but there's a good chance you're not. Our Flame Wheel breaks the sub, but this does let Wiggles freely go for a curse to boost her attack and defense. As a result, she can now fire off a pretty nasty Aqua Jet, which triggers Lafufu's berry before we hit another now nerfed Fusion Bolt. The tough second Aqua Jet drops Lafufu down to just 8 HP, as a Flame Wheel brings Wigglytuff into the red as well. Now, if you're paying attention, you may have noticed that some of these plays were a bit unoptimal. Risking a critical hit Aqua Jet, using Flame Wheel instead of Fusion Bolt, which is more base power even after stab, and not switching to Incinerate, a special move after Wigglytuff got a physical defense boost. Well, something you should know is that per the rules of the Nuzlocke Invitational, I'm not allowed to talk to Fuslie during battles. I can tell her where to go, advise her on which moves to learn, but the second any battle begins, she's completely on her own, and all I can do is watch. Which makes sense. I could lead a monkey through a Nuzlocke if I told them exactly what to do. Wait, hold on. That's an incredible video idea. Let me just write that down. Okay, anyways, this is a very necessary rule, but it does lead to some pretty stressful situations.
Wait, oh my god! He can die! I forgot about this! Oh my god, I forgot that if they faint, they die. Like, I lose them. Oh my god, I'm so chill because I thought, oh my god, okay, I have to swap.
With Fuslie remembering the single most important rule of Nuzlocking, she correctly switches Lafufu out, and eventually Whopper the Whooper secures the victory, and we've got our very first gym badge. Were mistakes made? Yes. But honestly, a substitute curse Aqua Jet Wigglytuff is a pretty gnarly first boss, so this was a fantastic learning opportunity and Fuseli did a great job adapting on the fly. It really seems like Attempt 1 has the durability to go all the way. Just like the watches from the sponsor of this video, Holzkern. I see you're back to using intentionally bad sponsorship segues for comedic effect, huh? Well, I see you're back to pointing out my intentionally bad sponsorship segues in an attempt at meta humor. Yeah, well, I see you're back to pointing out my attempt at meta humor in order to— Okay, we could do this all day. Holzkern is an Austrian accessories company that specializes in one-of-a-kind products made from wood and other natural materials. But if you've seen some of my other videos, you already know that, because I've been partnered with Holzkern for nearly 2 years. So I'm speaking from first-hand experience when I say that their products are built to last. I still wear my very first watch, the Existential, and it works just as well as it did on day one. It's a real testament to Holzkern's quality and durability without compromising on their one-of-a-kind designs. True story, I was recently in a candy store, as full-grown men often are, and the cashier said she loved my Holzkern watch. So feel free to put that in the marketing material, guys. Back in 2023, Holzkern's primary focus was on their watches, and though they still have countless beautiful watches to choose from, my favorite being the Antoninus, they also offer gorgeous, uniquely crafted jewelry that my wife is a huge fan of and wears every time we go out. Just look at all this jewelry that I definitely picked out for her all by myself because I have great style and an eye for fashion. The point is that Holzkern offers something for everyone, and they make amazing gifts for both loved ones and yourself. Plus, with free worldwide shipping and orders that show up in just 5 to 9 business days, there's no unexpected headache. So if you want to check out everything Holzkern has to offer, you can use my code FLYGON to get 15% off site-wide. Thanks so much to Holzkern for sponsoring this video. Now, let's get back to the challenge. With the new level cap of 21, we're able to storm through the trainers en route to Cerulean City, making sure to take at least a little bit of time after each fight to break down the decision-making in these low-stakes scenarios. This is where we really hammer in stuff like stab calculations, the risk of low-accuracy moves, and just general optimization. Other than catching a few new teammates, the most important part of the gameplay between gym leaders is collecting items, which again are completely randomized, so picking up every possible one in the hopes of getting something good is a must. Plus, it gives us a chance to find TMs, which are also randomized and can actually be used once on any Pokemon in the game. Same goes for the move tutors, by the way. I mean, this all doesn't matter too much right now, but taking stock of all the resources will be important for later when it comes time to build our final team. So once we've made it to Cerulean City, I'm pretty happy with our team. We've got a range of different types, some excellent items, and even a few sleeper hits, like Zeus the Flaffy with the ability Desolate Land. You gotta love randomizers. So instead of heading north to take on the rival fight, I decide that we're ready to face down Misty. Like with Brock, her lead is destined to be a total pushover. It's her ace, randomized from the 520 base stat total Starmie, that has the potential to be a real threat. This early in the game, there's a lot of Pokemon with that high of a BST that could be really scary. Fortunately, as Garbage the Nuzleaf takes down Gloom with 2 Choice Scarf Fire Fangs, Misty brings in her Samurott. Definitely strong, but we've got solid answers into water types, most notably being Little Zeus, which Fuseli correctly identifies as the right Pokemon to bring in on a Brick Break. From here, we should be able to do big damage with Overdrive. But then, this happens.
Overdrive or Shockwave? Definitely Overdrive. Overdrive. Uh-oh, what's Belly Drum?
Oh my god!
What? What is it doing? Uh-oh.
No,
Wait,
you're
is it over?
kidding me! Are you kidding me?
What's happening?
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Having either Belly Drum or Lightning Rod would have been fine, but the combination of the two? This is basically unwinnable. I mean, there are some outs, and to her credit, Fuseli sort of figures it out. She brings in Garbage, hoping to get some damage off with a Trope Kick, but even with a Choice Scarf, Garbage, true to his name, does not outspeed. So then she brings in Whopper, and somehow the chubby little guy survives a +6 brick break, letting him get off an icy wind to drop Samurot's speed. With that play, Fuslie can actually still get out of this. It's gonna take some sacrifices, but all of a sudden, this is very doable. Fubi comes in next, all but certainly doomed to be the run's third death. And then Samurot uses agility. You have got to be kidding me. With that, there's no out. In just a few turns, the rest of our team is dead, and we've lost attempt number 1. Forget what I said earlier, you do not under any circumstances gotta love randomizers. That was some incredibly unfortunate luck, and possibly the most heartbreaking part of it is that Fuslie did nothing wrong. She didn't misplay, she didn't even really panic under the pressure, and there's no amount of game knowledge that would have made that meaningfully easier. Anyone else in her position would have also wiped to the world's most unhinged Samurot. That moveset was truly psychotic. As a coach, my main concern was that this objectively brutal experience would be enough to discourage Leslie from wanting to continue. No one likes to lose, especially to something that was so seemingly unfair. To her credit though, just a few minutes later, we were back in Professor Oak's lab picking our next starter. But attempt 2 was a dud. Every single encounter in our first batch was exceptionally frail, and without an electric type resistance, we didn't stand a chance against Brock's Minin. I don't really want to talk about it, because attempt 3 was the run.
Ah! We win! We win the game!
Oh, shit.
This is the run, y'all.
Well, now we got a real Sophie's choice here, except in this case, both of Sophie's options are good. Presumably that's different than in the movie, I haven't seen it. After some discussion, we decide to go with Beldum, because that round little doofus can rot in hell. But actually, a guaranteed steel type is simply too good to pass up, and Dummy will evolve at level 20 in time for the fight against Misty, assuming we can get there. And it seems like we're gonna have a bit of an uphill battle as our first batch of encounters rolls in, though Orby the Voltorb does have one of the best setup moves in the game, Quiver Dance. And thanks to an Ice Beam TM we find in Viridian Forest, our game plan against Brock becomes one of going for the QD sweep. With a bit of luck, Geodude will be randomized into something completely useless. And honestly, I don't think we could ask for much better. Skip Plume lets Fuslie set up 2 Quiver Dances, and even though Orby takes solid damage from some priority vacuum waves, Skip Plume obviously falls to a single quad effective Ice Beam that brings in Coughing. Even with Clear Smog and Acid Spray, Coughing isn't strong enough to survive Orby's onslaught, so a deathless victory over Brock is once again ours, though I'm not in love with how liberally Fuslie's spamming that speed up button. That's just an accident waiting to happen. With the new level cap, our team gets a major power upgrade in the form of Tough Claws Matang, and get this, Shell Armor Gyarados. Somehow, one of the best Pokemon in the game just got even better. No Intimidate, sure, but by being immune to critical hits, using Crappy becomes so much safer. As we make our way back to Cerulean City, both our encounter and item luck is a little worse on this go-around, though Shrimp the Horsey at least has potential if he can survive long enough to become a Kingdra. Back at Misty, our plan is to once again go for an Orby sweep, though since she leads with a Salandit after a Nuzzle paralysis, Fuslie correctly brings in Crappy and takes the KO with a dive.
Okay, what do we got here?
Dodrio.
Okay.
Okay, is that
Dodrio.
scary?
No. What do we have for flying types? Don't go to poop.
Ah! I was trying to look! Poop, it's over! You're dead! Oh, you'll be missed. You'll be missed.
Okay, I mean, that was just funny. Less funny is Fuslie proceeding to needlessly bring in Orby, who obviously also dies to a Crushed Claw. But after culling through 2 of our teammates, she correctly brings in Dummy, and at the very least, en route to an easy 2-shot via Thunder Punch, she does realize her mistake.
Oh, you know, I should have brought out Dummy first. I could have saved their lives.
Yeah.
In case it isn't clear, this is still day 1 of our Nuzlocke. Fuseli is still learning game mechanics, type matchups, basic strategies. It's a ton of information all at once, so in spite of some minor misplays, I cannot stress how well she's doing and how fun it is to see her improvement in even a short amount of time. With 2 gym badges secured, we officially have a new personal record as our first stream of the Nuzlocke Invitational comes to an end. 4 days later, our journey continues, and right off the bat, the vibes are immaculate. Fuseli was excited to keep going and even studied the type chart in between streams, which I, as any good teacher would, confirmed with a not-so-brief pop quiz. Anyways, north of Cerulean City, after packing up our rival, we catch Bubbly the Azurill. And little did either of us know that sweet little Bubbly would quickly become the single best Pokemon in the entire run. Because as soon as she evolves into a Azumarill, Bubbly learns Quiver Dance, which as we saw with Orbi, isn't exactly insane by itself, especially on a Pokemon as slow and weak as a Azumarill. But Bubbly also happens to know Spore, the only 100% accurate sleep move in the entire game, which makes setting up with multiple Quiver Dances significantly easier. Plus, Bubbly knows Draining Kiss, which can be used to gain back any damage lost during the setup process. So when you also factor in Azumarill's generally solid bulk and the fact that Water Fairy is one of the best typings in the game both offensive and defensively, Bubbly has the potential to sweep massive sections of the entire game with little to no risk as long as Fuseli plays optimally, which is much easier said than done. Take, for example, our fight against Lieutenant Surge, where he immediately sends out a Skip Plume, who thanks to his grass typing is completely immune to Spore, meaning that we can't get off a Quiver Dance sweep. But fortunately, we did prepare for the possibility of a grass type, so this is fine. Really, the only thing Fuseli can't do is
Panic! Okay, no, don't panic. Okay. Do we swap? No, because swapping feels lame.
No, we do swap.
What if we did Edna, right?
She
I
hates
know we're
going to
supposed to use
Gyarados.
this as a, as like a, you know, throwaway, but
Like, we just gotta go
Poison Jab.
Gyarados.
I think that could be fun. Drum beating? Is that like belly drum?
No.
Bye-bye.
She's going rogue.
Okay,
She's
Black
going
Sludge.
rogue.
Whoa.
But
okay,
it's
I like
working.
this thing. Houndoom.
It's working.
I could just use U-turn and get out of
She
there.
should not
Okay.
U-turn.
Ah! Oh, that's fine. That's
Okay,
just
wow,
a terrain thing.
that worked out.
Okay.
That worked out.
Oh, wait. It makes psychic moves stronger, right? Okay.
We're not overthinking it. We're just going crappy. Please
Dark
just
is
go
nothing to
Gyarados.
psychic. Okay, so am I overthinking this?
I'm losing
overthinking
it. I'm losing it,
I'm
chat.
overthinking it.
Bubbly's fine
Good
too.
beats evil. Fairy strong against dark, right?
That's true.
Bubbly!
That's true. Okay.
That's kind of fun. Spore! Uh-oh.
That's fine.
Tank
That's gonna do
it.
nothing. That's perfect.
Okay.
It stresses
Okay,
me out that she
huge, right?
speeds up the moves.
Now we Quiver
All right,
Dance.
now she can get 2 Quiver Dances off.
Uh-oh, it woke up.
Spore it again.
Okay.
Spore it again.
And that's okay.
You spore
No problem.
first. Always spore first. Always spore
What's that do?
first.
What's Wicked Blow?
That's fine. That's
Is
fine.
that going to kill me? I will cry. Do not. Okay, that's okay. This is good. This is huge.
I mean, she's doing well. And now she should get it totally
I'm gonna black
fine.
out. Teddy Ursa! I mean, it can't kill me. There's just no world where this thing kills me, so let's just
This
be
is so
safe.
painful.
Wait, is this safe or is this... I think this,
This
is
is
fine.
so
we go
funny.
first. GG. Oh. Yay! We won!
Yay! Incredible.
Wait, actually?
Incredible. Great job. It was very good. You did great. You did
Okay.
great. You made it way harder than you needed to,
Okay, I figured.
but that's totally okay.
Okay.
You know, now's a great time to remember that everything is harder when you're under pressure, which is why just knowing a strategy often isn't enough. What you really need is practice. And fortunately, this next stretch of the game provides us with plenty of opportunities. It's a long way to Celadon City, though we do get some fantastic encounters to further build out our team around Bubbly. The most exciting comes from Diglett Cave in the form of a Dragonair who... The second most exciting comes from Route 10 in the form of a Riolu, who immediately evolves into a Lucario with the ability... Portal Power?
I have no idea what that ability is.
Is that good, though?
I've literally never heard of it.
Turns out that this is a custom-made ability from the fan game Pokemon Unbound, where it's the hidden ability for Hoopa. How this got into our very real Uncle Jimtendo approved copy of Pokemon Fire Red is anyone's guess. But given that portal power obviously could not be properly transferred to Scarlet and Violet for the in-game VGC tournament, we were promised by Point Pro himself that if we were to use Furry the Lucario, he would be given the ability Shadow Shield instead. Anywho, by the time we make it to the fight against Erika in Celadon City, our box is looking pretty solid, and we've got a lot of strong Pokemon to pull from, though our primary strategy remains getting off a bubbly sweep. Sadly, Erika leads with a Rotom fan who's not immune to Spore, but does potentially threaten with stab super effective electric type damage. So, Fushley smartly switches to Duty the Golem on a parabolic charge. I'm worried here that Rotom has a random move like Energy Ball or something, but my fears are misplaced as they simply opt to blow up for 19 whole damage. This brings in Gallade.
Okay, that guy's strong too. That guy's really
This is
strong!
Gyarados fodder. This is Gyarados fodder.
Panic!
Hey, have I mentioned that Crappy has acrobatics? Yeah, she's kind of a beast, but since she's snoozing, Fushley opts to switch in Bubbly on a Psyshock, which does solid damage, though not enough to prevent a setup sweep. My hope is that she uses a combination of Spore and Quiver Dance to get as many boosts as possible, but whether it's the fear of losing Bubbly or just the haze of war, instead of setting up with a second Quiver Dance, she opts for a Draining Kiss, which triggers Gallade's static ability.
Oh God, you're kidding me!
And then, of course, Bubbly gets fully paralyzed, so now we have to bring in Garby. Gallade misses a Sing, which lets us hit a Hyperspace Hole Fury or whatever that one Hoopa move is called, though unfortunately that just misses out on the KO and lets Erika heal on the following turn, which goes completely unpunished as Garby whiffs a Sucker Punch. Good job, chat. A+ backseating as always. Thankfully, Gallade doesn't have too much to hit Garby with, though a long sleep from Sing means that Garby can only get off a Thunder Wave before needing to switch out. Fushley's choice is Crappy, but since she also takes a long snooze, our next stop is Duty, as it becomes more and more apparent that someone is probably going to die here. A full paralysis on the switch is great though, and then as Duty sets up a Leech Seed, Gallade gets fully paralyzed again. Finally, some solid luck. With the Leech Seed damage, we can get the kill on Gallade even after he puts us to sleep with another Sing. So Erika's last Pokemon is Frostlass, which is not great, especially because she immediately traps Duty in with a Spirit Lock as he takes his second turn of sleep. Unideal, but Duty was never endgame material, and as Frostlass fires off an Aura Sphere, I salute our brave brown turf.
Wait, what? Wake up! No, you bastard!
What can we do?
Sucker Punch!
Sucker Punch is prio. Yes! Please!
Oh, no!
No! Wait, that's fine! Oh, no, it's not. It does damn. No, Duty!
I mean, that sleep luck was brutal, and Gallade was a menace, so as Furry comes out to take the KO and win us the 4th gym badge, I'm really proud of how well Fushley played. Duty is a small price to pay for the survival of the run. Unfortunately, as a result of some scheduling, it's not until a full week later that we're able to continue. We've now got less than 2 weeks left to beat our Nuzlocke, meaning that a wipe here would be devastating, though at this point, 5 of the 8 teams literally hadn't even started, so I guess things could definitely be worse. Besides, after flopping in the last 2 gyms, surely 3rd time's the charm for a bubbly sweep, right?
Perfect example of an extremely easy Pokemon to set up on.
Go to bed and let me Quiver Dance.
Quiver Dance
Okay.
once.
Couple times, maybe. What?
That's fine.
What's drill run? Is that steel?
No,
oh my
no,
God,
no, no,
I didn't
put
mean
it
to
to
Quiver
sleep.
Dance. I pressed
Put it
A.
to sleep.
I pressed A by accident. Okay. Everyone relax.
I want her to do one more and kill.
So that's my 3rd one.
I think
Perhaps
she
again?
should stay. She can do 4
4?
again here. That's huge. So it's going to wake up now.
Perhaps
I
a
would just take
5th?
the kill here. But if she wants, that's fine too. Yeah, she's got it. She's got it. Mwah. She's learning. She's learning. She's got it.
I don't know if this
beautiful.
is what you do, but I've never done Quiver Dance 6 times, and that sounds fun.
We love it.
Now we have a maxed out Azumarill. You know what? I'm putting it back to sleep. Wait, is this crazy? Because if I were to kill it now, I'm at lower HP.
Damn, actually,
but
that's smart.
stalled
That is actually
out
smart.
with the spore to use my leftovers for another turn.
Look at this. That's
Tell
so
me
smart.
that's not
She's
that's
so
not the
good
thing
at
to
this
do.
game. Yeah.
And I move
That
hella
was
fast.
so good. That was so good.
Though this is we're fully set up. Mammoth swine.
Kill it. Water
Ice
pledge
ground,
it straight
ice
to the
ground,
temple.
ice ground.
Send this thing back
Water
to
is
the
strong
Ice Age,
against
baby.
that.
Boom. Yeah, we just
Driftloom. Okay, this
murder
thing. This is. I mean, this thing
Pop
looks
it.
weak.
Bubbly
What do we
with the
got?
sweep. Bubbly with
Pause.
the sweep.
Very strong against dark. Good beats evil. Attack! Woohoo!
Hey, that was by far your best gym fight yet. That was phenomenal. No notes.
No notes. Yo.
That was fantastic. That was perfect.
Oh my god, that was
so
awesome.
fucking good.
With the true power of our bulbous water rabbit unlocked, Team Fuslie was finally firing on all cylinders. There was nothing that could stop us, and I do mean nothing. Bubbly proceeds to fully sweep all of Sabrina and Blaine's Pokemon like a bunch of perfectly cooked fish fillets. In the fight for the 8th gym badge against Giovanni, though, he leads with an Empoleon. Fuslie correctly identifies that this is one of the few Pokemon that can resist both of Bubbly's stab moves, so she opts to bring in Maggie the Magnezone, who proves that it's not just Bubbly who's capable of sweeping. Helps that Giovanni's team randomized into almost entirely water types, and really weak ones at that, but by the end of day 3, we had successfully secured all 8 gym badges, and were just a stone's throw away from challenging the Pokemon League. However, scheduling here had once again prevented us from streaming for 8 full days, and in that time, many of our competitors had now started their runs, while the team of Chris Melberger and Moxie had actually already become the very first team to win their Nuzlocke. And by inspecting some of our soon-to-be opponents' runs, we learned that we weren't the only ones getting lucky with good encounters. In fact, just about every single team was catching some truly ridiculous Pokemon with powerful moves or insane abilities, or both. Chris had a Mew, Alana Pierce had a Deoxys, Ranboo had an Uxie, Ludwig hadn't even started yet, but unquestionably no one had stronger Pokemon than the team of Valkyrae and Kaya Coliseum, who over the course of just a few days had made it to the Elite Four deathless with a team consisting of a Choice Band Aftermath Slacking, an As-1 Astral Barrage Dragapult, a Battery Wicked Blow Tyranitar, a Shell Smash Gardevoir, a Fake Out Follow Me Milotic, and a Spore Raikou. What? Suddenly, little old Bubbly wasn't looking all that powerful. I mean, sure, she's great for the Nuzlocke part of the Nuzlocke Invitational, but how are we possibly gonna face off against that kind of firepower in LA? Now, we did have some very good Pokemon in our box, chief among them Shrimp the Kingdra, who now had Zacian's Intrepid Sword ability, along with one of Urshifu's signature moves, Surging Strikes. Definitely a beast, though even he wouldn't be able to touch Ray's team of genetically gifted super soldiers. The good news is that we still had quite a few encounters left, and critically, 3 of them were randomized off the base stats of Kanto's legendary birds, meaning that it was very likely to get some powerful Pokemon and potentially even a legendary. So with a little bit of luck, we could still catch some absolute units for our team.
Okay, you got it.
Be good. What is this shit? I thought it's supposed to be f***ing legendary!
This.
Oh, wow.
Might kill it.
Oh, am I gonna kill it? Am I gonna kill it?
That was on me. That was a bad recommendation to use that move. I apologize. I did not know that this would be at level 43. I thought it would be at level 50.
And you know what? I didn't want it anyway. Here we go.
All right, chat. What do we want? I want Heatran or Darkrai. Oh, shit.
It's a dupe. I have it.
That's a dupe.
So what do we do?
You have to run.
Okay, maybe I get a crazy encounter here. Like, because this is where
It's possible.
Articuno, like, hangs out. So I feel like Articuno only hangs out with, like, hella strong Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Plus, like, even if it doesn't randomize to something really strong, it could randomize to, like, a mid-stage Pupitar that turns into a Tyranitar, for example, or Vigoroth or whatever. So it's not necessarily... That's probably not that useful.
Shiny Darkrai? That. What's that stone? Oh shit, this is it. Legendary
Yep,
encounter!
this is it.
Oh, okay, I know you don't think, but this is my favorite Pokemon.
Welp, with 0 legendaries, we've officially made it to the Indigo Plateau as our 4th stream comes to a close. At the time, I was pretty frustrated by our less than stellar encounter luck in the back half of this playthrough, and I don't think I hit it well at all. But with a little bit of time to cool off and reflect, I realized that A, I was being a dramatic pissy baby, and B, at the end of the day, my main goals were to teach Fuslie about Nuzlocking and have some fun. So mission absolutely accomplished. And if Fuslie could beat her very first Nuzlocke, then no matter what happens in the tournament, I'd be extremely proud of our achievements. Is that a little cope? Maybe, but I did genuinely believe it. So after a few days of tinkering with the team to give us a fighting chance in the tournament, I settled on the following 6 Pokemon. First up, Bubbly. She provides virtually no benefit for the VGC tournament, but it's a no-brainer to bring her to the Elite Four. We've seen what she can do at full power, and I expect that she'll do so for the final fights of the playthrough as well. Second is Shrimp, the aforementioned intrepid sword Kingdra, who's holding a focus sash and also happens to know Detect, a staple for the double battles that will be featured in the tournament. Third is Boomy the Dragonite, a late game pickup named in honor of the Diglett Cave debacle. With the ability Snow Warning, Boomy provides weather control. She's also holding an assault vest for survivability and can fire off a handful of powerful attacks. Fourth is Brawny the Bronzong, who serves as a phenomenal support Pokemon thanks to Fantastic Bulk and access to screens via Aurora Veil, redirection via Follow Me, and healing via Pollen Puff. Their ability Harvest means that they can also routinely gain back HP with their held Citrus Berry at the end of every turn. Fifth is Furry the Lucario, soon to be sporting the Shadow Shield ability that makes him the perfect choice for a Tailwind setter, since very, very few Pokemon can pick up the one-shot when he's at full HP. He's also got a range of coverage moves that make him the perfect recipient for our Expert Belt. And last is a rather unorthodox choice, Stupid the Hippowdon, named in frustration since she was supposed to be a legendary. And though she might not be quite as powerful as, say, a Groudon, her Choice Band Precipice Blades are nothing to laugh at. So with our team assembled, there was nothing left to do but take on the Pokemon League. Now, if you were hoping for this to be an ultra-intense, tightly contested battle of wit and perseverance, you're gonna be disappointed. But if you've ever wanted to see an Azumarill single-handedly KO every Pokemon in the entire Indigo Plateau, then you're also gonna be disappointed because Boomy does come in to KO our rivals Ludicolo. But Bubbly does literally everything else. No other Pokemon so much as touches the battlefield. In just 5 fat sweeps, Fuslie had won her very first Nuzlocke in spectacular fashion, and I simply could not be prouder. Or so I thought. Because despite some truly stiff competition awaiting us in LA, Fuslie wasn't ready to just throw in the towel. So, over the course of the next week, we went through what could only be described as a VGC boot camp, going over the ins and outs of double battles, playtesting in Showdown, and finding the best lines and openers against all 7 of our opponents' teams. These sessions would last for hours, sometimes going late into the night. We were both determined to work our asses off to put together a good showing in LA, and this was honestly so much fun. Stressful at times, yes. After all, we were the only team in the tournament that didn't have either a Dragapult, a Slacking, or a mythical/legendary. Or, you know, all 3 if you're Valkyrae. And despite all of our prep, in the end, there was only so much we could cover in such a short time. Pokemon is a deceptively complex game. There is so much to think about, especially in competitive play. Be it knowing speed tiers, understanding outs, making good trades, maintaining momentum, and expecting anyone to crack it all in a week would have been ridiculous. So when the first ever Nuzlocke Invitational officially kicked off, I knew that we were as prepared as we possibly could have been. Now, it wasn't until Peach Owl and Point Crow went live that we finally got to see the tournament bracket, which would be played as a best-of-3 double elimination competition. So we were as surprised as everyone else to find out that not only were our first opponents Connor Eats Pants and his coach Stefan Sunny, but we were also the very first match of the entire tournament. This meant that we had roughly 5 minutes to discuss the matchup before Fuseli and Connor were on center stage. At this point, all Stefan and I could do was sit back and watch our players from the sidelines. We weren't even able to talk to them between games. Connor's team definitely wasn't our worst matchup, but it also wasn't easy, so Fuseli was really gonna need to execute under pressure. Needless to say, I was extremely nervous. And game 1 did little to settle those nerves. It was kind of a disaster. The low point was definitely Fuseli clicking extreme speed into Connor's Phantom Force Dragapult, which, I mean, it's not ideal. She was absolutely in her head. She was panicking, and as game 2 started, I was worried that we would quickly find ourselves in the losers bracket. This time, Connor completely switches up his lead to Breloom and Slacking, which is one of the few combinations where our planned line is to immediately switch Shrimp out into Boomy. And though the subsequent double up into Brawny for a quick KO may seem like a disaster, I mean, Peach Allen Point Crow even said as much.
If I was Fuseli, I would be panicking right now because there is absolutely nothing that she gained.
She has lost so much. She basically did nothing this turn. She switched to the Dragonite.
She got rid of, even worse, she got rid of the Dragonite, so she doesn't have an Intrepid Sword anymore.
Yeah.
This was a net negative for every decision that she could have made.
This, believe it or not, was according to plan. Now that Breloom is locked into Choice Scarf Wicked Blow, Furry is completely safe to come in and set up a Tailwind, which thanks to dynamic speed lets Boomy take the KO on Breloom with a Drill Peck before getting nailed by Slacking's Double Edge. Once again, Peach Allen Point Crow simply do not see the vision.
Connor in a what I would say significant advantage in this match again.
Shrimp moves first here to do a bit of damage with unboosted Surging Strikes before Dragapult goes for a Shadow Force, really the only way for him to deal solid damage. And unfortunately, the 2-turn move is costly, because it means that Furry can take the kill on Slacking with a Sacred Sword. Suddenly, the battle is a 2v2, and with both Shrimp's Focus Sash and Furry's Shadow Shield fully intact, Connor is done. Once again, Surging Strikes does just a smidge of damage, but after Shrimp eats a Shadow Force like a champ, Furry's Moongeist Beam takes out Metagross. So with a double up of Dragon Darts and another Moongeist Beam, Fuseli has damn near perfectly piloted our team to its very first tournament victory. My confidence is restored as we head into Game 3. Connor's lead is the same as Game 1, and the opening turns are largely similar, so as long as Fuseli doesn't make the same mistakes, things should be okay. Milotic uses Rage Powder, and Brawny uses Follow Me, which allows Dragapult to safely set up Tailwind as Shrimp's Dragon Darts go into Milotic for massive damage. On turn 2, Dragapult goes for a Shadow Force, which means that Shrimp's darts again get redirected into Milotic, who's managed to heal up to full HP and therefore survive the double up with just a sliver after Brawny's Pollen Puff. On turn 3, Milotic goes for a Rage Powder as Shadow Force gets the clean KO on Brawny, though it does cost Connor a Pokemon as well, meaning that they're both at 3 Pokemon apiece going into Connor's final turn of Tailwind. Slacking comes out for Connor, and Fuseli sends out Boomy. Personally, I would have liked to see Furry set up a Tailwind, but Fuseli knew something I didn't. Clearly, she was in Connor's head.
So something worth noting here, the Kingdra does have Detect. Detect and Protect are very, very rare in this tournament because it's based on the randomizer movesets. It was just hard to get those moves, and it is a very powerful move. You're blocking those clanging scales. It's a multi-hit move.
That was pretty good. Great play.
Right.
Yes!
Oh, foul play.
The foul play into the Detect. Oh, that was such a good read. She needed that to stay in. And
this
then
is
onto the
such a massive tempo advantage for Fuseli.
Oh my god, what a read from Fuseli.
You hear that idiot yelling in the background? That's me, by the way. But it was warranted because with that single read, Fuseli effectively sealed up the victory. Connor's Tailwind is now over, and the combination of Slacking and Metagross simply can't do enough damage to our 3 remaining Pokemon, especially when the former is locked into foul play. After Boomy's noble death, Furry kills Slacking with a Sacred Sword, and then on the following turn, a combination of Moongeist Beam and Surging Strikes takes out Metagross. We had won the very first match of the Nuzlocke Invitational, and depending on how the bracket shakes out, we suddenly had a very good chance of a deep run. Fuseli definitively proved that she has what it takes to make good plays. So now all we need to do is keep it up. Thanks to the losers bracket round 1 going before the winners bracket round 2, we had a long time to prep for our next opponent, Alana Pierce and her coach Luke Forever. Unfortunately, this matchup is basically impossible to win. For them. See, Alana's biggest threats are her super powerful Deoxys and her super speedy Electrode with Spore, which both gave her round 1 opponent quite the headache. But Shrimp with Follow Me support from Brawny really just destroys both of them. Surging Strikes one-shots Electrode, and Deoxys is so weak that Boomy's priority extreme speed or even a single Dragon Dart from Shrimp can get the KO. Really, it's just a horrible matchup for Alana, and though she tries her best to play to her outs via glare paralysis from Corviknight, the RNG simply doesn't go her way in either of our 2 games, and it's a very decisive 2-0 victory that gets us to the semifinals of the Nuzlocke Invitational. Fuseli played that damn near perfectly. She followed the lines exactly how we planned, and for the first time ever, I thought that we had a really solid chance at winning the entire tournament. See, between the first 2 rounds, there had been quite the dramatic shakeup in the bracket when Valkyrae, the heavy favorite to win the entire thing, lost her matchup in round 1 to Team Slimesicle. In hindsight, we should have known that his coach Freezeye, a brilliant competitive player, would be able to cook up something scary. But nobody expected Valkyrae to be scrambling her way through the losers bracket, which was in no small part due to Slimesicle's unique brand of, let's call it, psychological warfare. Ray simply crumbled under the sheer terror that Slime, dressed as Team Rocket I might add, was unleashing onto all of his opponents. This meant that it was Slime who would be our next opponent in the semifinals. And our matchup into his team was actually quite good. Miles better than the matchup into Valkyrae, so I was more than happy to see her go down. Completely from a competitive angle, of course, Ray is actually so sweet and it was a pleasure to get to meet her. Same goes for Charlie and everyone else, of course. Meeting so many kind and friendly people was definitely the highlight of the entire event. But my point still stands. I would be happy to never have to face off against Ray's extraordinarily f***ed up team. So as the battle against Slimesicle begins, I'm feeling confident. He leads with Garchomp and Staraptor, which is the exact lead that we were expecting to see. We had a very clear line for this lead, so as long as Fuseli was able to focus on the game plan and not let Charlie get in her head, making it to the finals was all but guaranteed. See, the idea is to use Follow Me with Brawny, ensuring that Staraptor can't go for Decorate, and so that Furry can safely set up a Tailwind. If Brawny goes down, this lets Boomy come in and threaten a double KO with a combination of Glacial Lance and Sacred Sword. But unfortunately, Slime's just too good at getting into his opponent's head.
High horsepower.
You have to go Dragonite and like...
Fuseli was panicking, and as I've come to learn, it takes her a little bit of time to relax. Time that we simply do not have. After bringing in Stupid, she accidentally swaps her into Boomy on the very next turn, which actually ends up being a pretty phenomenal play as Furry is able to get off damage into Staraptor with Sacred Sword before the bird goes for an extremely weak Wood Hammer and Garchomp gets the kill on Lucario with a second Earthquake. Now, if Fuseli could hear herself think through Slime's expert manipulation, she might be able to see that this is actually an incredible spot to be in. Boomy's Glacial Lance and Stupid's Precipice Blades completely pin Slime's team. All she has to do is lock into the right move with Stupid, but she doesn't. For some reason, she clicks Sunsteel Strike. A move that we have never once used in a single practice game. If I could go back in time and make it so that Stupid's only move is Precipice Blades, I genuinely believe that we would have won this game. Because Slime makes a very aggressive double switch into Metagross and Milotic. A play that would have been a disaster for him had Fuseli gone for Precipice Blades. Metagross would have died on the switch, and Milotic would have taken so much damage that a second one would have easily gotten the KO on the following turn, since under Tailwind, Stupid is actually faster than Milotic. At the same time, Slime would have been forced to replace Metagross with either Garchomp or Staraptor, who would have also died to Boomy's Glacial Lance. Barring misses from Precipice Blades, that game would have been unlosable, and watching this go down in the moment with that knowledge was brutal. Something you guys might not know is that production always had a camera on the coaches throughout every game, even though they rarely showed it during the broadcast. I don't even know if that footage was actually saved because I can't find it, but I'm actually glad that they never panned to us in real time here, because for the entire match, I was sitting there like this. Game 2 goes a little better, mostly because I think Charlie was getting tired from screaming the entire time, and the result is that Fuslie plays a little bit better. Still, some critical misplays, like trying to set up Tailwind when we still had one turn left, and going for Dragon Hammer into Garchomp instead of the guaranteed KO with Glacial Lance, ultimately does end up costing us the victory. No matter how you look at it, that was not our best performance. I would love to see that matchup with noise-canceling headphones, but I really can't blame Slime for playing dirty, especially when this is all just for fun. Regardless, a loss in the winner's semis means that we find ourselves in the loser's finals against none other than Valkyrae. I cannot stress how terrible this matchup is. A lead of Spore Raikou when combined with her fake out Follow Me Milotic is a menace, since we don't have a single way to prevent sleep. Ray's team with perfect piloting is basically unbeatable, but throughout this tournament, we've seen time and time again that solid matchups can be thrown away by even a single misplay. And because Ray lost in round 1, she's played more games than anyone else in the entire tournament. She was tired, and that very well may be just the advantage we need. As game 1 begins, Ray shows the lead we expected, and Fuslie brings in Boomy and Brawny, a lead that I at the time thought was cooked by Fuslie, but later found out was suggested by none other than VGC World Champion Wolfie Glick. The idea here is to set up Aurora Veil with Brawny and pray for good sleep luck, though given that on turn 1 she can always fake out one of our Pokemon and sleep the other, this is definitely easier said than done. That is, unless Ray doubles up on Dragonite. Right away, that's a misplay, and we had ourselves a ball game. Of course, Ray can simply put Brawny to sleep on turn 2, but with the ability to now eat hits much better, our Pokemon now had a decent chance of waking up before getting KO'd. Ray switches Milotic out into Dragapult, presumably so that her Unnerve ability stops Brawny's Citrus Berry from activating, though Raikou's Flamethrower doesn't even bring them down below half health. Unfortunately, Boomy does not get the one-turn wake-up here, so it's only Brawny who's able to fire off a tiny bit of damage into Raikou with Pollen Puff. Ray's Dragapult rips a very weak Dragon Darts that does little damage to either of our Pokemon. Her Raikou finally decides to put Brawny to sleep, and then Boomy wakes up to rip a Dragon Hammer that would have killed were it not for Ray's Focus Sash. I would have liked to see a Glacial Lance or a Dragon Hammer into Raikou to get them out of the way as quickly as possible. I'm pretty sure a Dragon Hammer E-Speed combo would have been enough to KO the Legend, but instead an Extreme Speed is now fairly useless as Dragapult rips a Clanging Scales, and Raikou obviously puts Boomy back to sleep. The good news is that Brawny clutches up with a one-turn sleep to take the kill on Dragapult with a Pollen Puff, which also lets them eat their held Citrus Berry. Now that Dragapult's down, Ray's team is much less threatening. She brings in her Tyranitar, and after Thor puts Brawny back to sleep, a Diamond Storm takes out Boomy. But this means that Fuslie can now bring in Stupid as the Snow and our Aurora Veil fade. Now, if Brawny can get a one-turn sleep and protect Stupid from a Spore, she can get off some massive damage with Precipice Blades.
Stim out real quick.
Oh my god!
Shit.
Oh, with the follow me!
So huge.
Oh my god! Fuslie playing out of her mind.
This is definitely too
Okay, let's see it. Gets the okay, immediate Spore. That's totally fine here. Fuslie crying, saying, "My boy, Brawny, my boy."
But she doesn't understand how
the
great
Wicked
this
Blow.
is.
That's totally okay. But here's the important thing: there is no ally Pokemon next to it, so
Precipice Blades could miss here.
Come on, Stupid, do something.
I think we're hoping for a crit on the T-Tar.
it missed. T-Tar.
Even with the miss on Tyranitar, everything is fine. Ray brings in Milotic and Fuslie sends out Furry. A fake out from Milotic goes into Stupid, which unfortunately for Ray is the wrong target because it means that Furry can one-shot Tyranitar with a Sacred Sword, which ignores the defense boosts from Diamond Storm. Now in a 2v1, there's nothing Ray can do. Milotic isn't strong enough to one-shot either of our Pokemon, so with a double up, Fuslie has taken game 1 against Ray. Could she actually do the unthinkable? Could Fuslie be the one to permanently knock Ray out of the tournament and get a chance at redemption against Slime? We were just 1 win away. In game 2, the leads are identical, so once again, it's gonna come down to sleep luck, though this time Ray doesn't double up on Boomy, and Fuslie opts to hit Raikou with an extreme speed before getting put to sleep. Critically, this means that Boomy does not immediately burn his first turn of sleep, and as a result will be guaranteed to snooze on the following turn. And now, without Aurora Veil, Fuslie is in a much worse spot. Ray again switches out Milotic, this time to her Tyranitar. Raikou uses another Spore, and both of our Pokemon take their mandatory first turns of sleep. So on the next turn, Brawny gets nailed by a nasty Flamethrower, triggering their held Citrus Berry, and then Boomy wakes up. But unfortunately, Fuslie goes for Glacial Lance. A pretty crucial misplay as it gets us very little. Tyranitar is already dead to a Sacred Sword from Brawny, so it's always better to hit Raikou with a Dragon Hammer here, since it would have put them into range of an extreme speed on the following turn. Now, even though both of our Pokemon survive Tyranitar's Diamond Storm, and Brawny even gets back their Citrus Berry from Harvest, there's nothing stopping Raikou from putting Boomy back to sleep and letting Tyranitar take the KO with another Diamond Storm. Well, the correct play there was hoping that Brawny can wake up and protect Boomy from a Spore by using Follow Me, but as we see, they don't wake up anyways, so it wouldn't have mattered. Alternatively, an Extreme Speed High Roll or Critical Hit could have gotten the KO there as well, but this one just isn't going our way. There's a chance to gain back some momentum by protecting Furry with a Follow Me and either setting up Tailwind or taking the KO on Raikou, but Fuslie opts for an Aurora Veil that at this point is just too little too late. Now, arguably, Ray does give us another chance to claw back by going for Flamethrower instead of Spore, though it actually kind of works out as Furry gets burned, having the damage of the Sacred Sword that goes into Milotic. This game is all over the place. I'm not sure what either Fuslie or Ray are doing, and I think Kaya can attest to this, that at this point in the battle, they were both off book flying blind. Nevertheless, there's really not much we can do at this point. The Aurora Veil and Brawny's Harvest ability grants us a few more turns of life, but with Boomy dead and Furry burned, our damage output just isn't there, and it's not too long until Ray has clinched a win in Game 2. Raikou is far too disruptive to be left alive for that long, and had Boomy hit them with Dragon Hammer instead of Glacial Lance, we had a really good shot of winning that game. Instead, it's all up to Game 3. Once again, both of our leads are identical, so Ray uses Fake Out on Brawny, Boomy uses an Extreme Speed, and Raikou puts our lovable Pseudo to sleep. Milotic once again swaps out, Raikou puts Brawny to sleep, and both of our Pokemon snooze. From here though, things start to look different as Ray whiffs a Thunder into Boomy, he gets a 1-turn Wake Up to hit that oh so important Dragon Hammer into Raikou, Tyranitar rips a classic Diamond Storm, and then Brawny also gets the 1-turn Wake Up to get off Aurora Veil. We were absolutely in this.
Leslie's in such a good position.
Your teammate, we
Yeah,
kind of
like,
fire.
Leslie quite literally has an advantage over Ray right now. That turn, that wake up into Draco Hammer was disgusting with the Thunder Miss.
Pull and Puff to heal the Dragonite here.
Oh, E speed, nice. And
I like the Pull and Puff. I don't know if she gets it off though.
Yeah.
That's not bad. The
I think
Raikou
that's
is dead though. That is one of Fuslie's wins conditions.
So huge, yeah.
That's what she needs.
Diamond Storm could miss.
Aurora Veil.
Oh!
But it,
Dragonite.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Defense
disaster.
Defense boost, but she gets
And
the
the
healing
Pollen
off.
Puff that heals the Dragonite.
Aurora Veil still up. This is disaster for Valkyrie.
With that, we had a 4v3 lead against Ray. Milotic comes in to take Raikou's spot, and I get excited when I see Fuslie considering the switch to Furry, which would be extremely safe and an excellent play. Unfortunately, the timer gets the better of her, so instead Milotic hits Boomy with a Fake Out, and Tyranitar takes the KO on Brawny with a Wicked Blow. 3v3 now. Furry comes in, and unfortunately, with Tish at full HP, Ray is free to protect Tyranitar with a follow me. Milotic goes down as Diamond Storm brings Boomy into the yellow and breaks Furry's Shadow Shield. 3v2 now as Valkyrae brings in her final Pokemon, that goddamn Dragapult. And sadly, even with the Pokemon advantage, there's just nothing we can do here. Astral Barrage kills Dragonite, critically boosting Dragapult's special attack thanks to Grim Neigh, while also doing solid damage to Furry. Sacred Sword kills Tyranitar as our Aurora Veil wears off, and even though we're now in a 2v1 scenario, it just doesn't matter. Dragapult's second Astral Barrage is enough to kill Lucario, and with the special attack boost, chunk Stupid to below 50%. Her Precipice Blades does bring our foe down into the red, but with a Focus Sash, Stupid was never winning this matchup. With one last Astral Barrage, Valkyrae had gotten the victory, and our tournament run was over. We had come so close, but Ray's Calyrex Shadow Rider in disguise was simply too much to overcome. After seeing how little she did in Game 1, it was an extremely smart adjustment from Ray to conserve Dragapult for the endgame in the remaining 2 fights, and our only counter to that would have been setting up a Tailwind, or bringing Shrimp instead of Stupid to break through Dragapult's Focus Sash with Dragon Darts. Kaya built an incredible team, Ray was a phenomenal pilot, and their prep was fantastic. It was a truly deadly combination. Regardless though, I am so unbelievably proud of how well Fuslie played. She put so much work into preparing for this tournament, and it really showed. From overcoming a Game 1 loss against Connor, to perfectly executing a matchup against Alana, to... well, we don't talk about the Slimecicle matchup, and all the way to being just one of 2 people capable of taking even a single game against Ray's monstrous team. This was an unbelievable performance, and I hope Leslie knows how great she really did. If this video is the first time you're learning about the Nuzlocke Invitational, I strongly suggest you check out all the other content about it from every other creator, because it truly was the best experience I have had in my entire YouTube career. Huge shout out to Peach and Point Crow for putting on this behemoth of an event, to both of their teams for working their asses off to make sure that everything went as smoothly as possible, to all the other players and coaches for being such genuinely wonderful people, and of course to Leslie for being the best partner I could have asked for. Links to everyone and everything are in the description down below. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Or don't, I don't know, but stay tuned for more Nuzlocke content, and until then, remember to always, always, always play around the critical hit.